recording.
So, yeah. Imagine we did the podcast and we were just like, yeah, hey.
That's probably one of the top grossing podcasts online is some guy doing that. Somehow that's a hit. People love that.
Yeah.
What was that scientist's name from that TV show back in the day that had that and then did some commercials about dry eyes? Oh, and he had his own game show too.
Ben Stein.
Ben Stein's funny.
Bueller, Ben Stein. He's still around. I'm sure he's on Cameo. You seen the Cameo thing?
Only what you've told me of it. I haven't actually
amazing.
Seen it.
Because it was like Bill, our manager, hit me up and was like, someone was asking if you want to be on Cameo, and I didn't even bring it to. I just said no. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't know anything about Cameo either. All right, I checked it out. I'm like, oh, okay. It's like people pay to get like direct messages from celebrities and stuff. There's not a lot of music people on there, but I heard the guy plays Kevin from The Office made $1 million this year from Cameo. Wow!
I want to get
it's out there.
Celebrity to mow my lawn. I forget. Let's get some real chores happening.
Yeah. Direct message, $100. Do your Postmate groceries. Yeah. $500. Yeah. Do your laundry. $1,000. Let's go. You missed a spot. Yeah. It's coming. It's all coming, Dave. It's all happening, and we're going to have to do it. The wheels are in motion, and we're up next. I'll go to a fan's house and make them dinner.
Yeah.
It's going to be pizza. That's it.
Well, last time you sent me a video of you making pizza, I could see the Domino's box in the background. Just because you pull it out of the oven.
So good.
Doesn't mean you make pretty good pizza. We lived together when we were making the last record. We lived in a flat together, and you and I have very different food making styles because my OCD has it so that everything is spread evenly and distributed evenly, and you make a mountain. Yours is like everything gets piled straight in the middle, and then it just has to get piled higher in the middle and then you have to get, like, if it's a sandwich, the bread's on top, squish. If it's pizza, it's just all like the middle is all full of stuff.
Yeah. I'm kind of like that. It's all going to one place anyways kind of guy. Yeah. Oh, those are so good though. Those we go to, what was the place called? Tesco's or?
Yeah.
One of those
Tesco Express.
Sainsbury's.
Yeah. We had one right around the corner.
So cheap.
You get the chorizo, you get a chunk of chorizo.
Oh, so good. Then we start borrowing each other stuff. Like, hey, can I put some of your chorizo on my pizza? And you're like, yeah, sure, go for it, man. Yeah, it was good.
Community
good
chorizo,
times.
Man. Community chorizo.
Those are the days. Remember when we could leave our house?
Yeah, that was good.
Did you
remember when we could leave our house and we stayed at another house in a different country?
Yeah, exactly. Just in a different city. But the place we stayed in London when we recorded our album last time, there was a ghost, right? Wasn't there a ghost? Did we talk about the ghost? I don't think so.
We talked about it with each other. A couple times I thought that, you did something, or I asked you in the morning, be like, did you come out of your room last night? And
yes.
You'd be like, no. I'm like, I swear I heard something. There was
you saw something. You were outside on the deck and you saw someone walk past or something. Then you thought it was me, and I wasn't even there. I came outside.
You came back from the gym. You came back out from the gym or something. Yeah. Something weird.
I was like, what? No, that wasn't me. Yeah, it's ghosts. Do you believe in all the ghosts? You believe in ghosts?
Yeah, I do. I believe in everything.
A great guest would be Dan Aykroyd, because I love Dan Aykroyd, but Ghostbusters. But he's actually has a massive connection because his whole family did whatchamacallits when he was a kid. Where they all sit in a circle and stuff.
Seance.
They do seances and stuff. So he grew up in that. He's like, oh yeah, we're in
Crazy.
the bar and we had seances, and he's seen aliens and stuff. He says he's seen like UFOs and to come down and look at him and stuff. I'm like, what a great guest that would be.
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
Season 2 of Band Beating Pie, and of course,
well, that's all
massive.
When we were making the record, that's all we did is watch ghost shows and Sasquatch shows, and
we watched the Sasquatch movie. Remember, it was so bad. It was like zoom in. It was a paper mache head. We're like, man, we're kind of disappointed. Remember? What else could it be?
I like that guy though. It was funny.
What was that called?
I don't remember.
He was pretty good. He was crazy for sure. The ghost. What was the show called? We watched like so many episodes, and one had Post Malone on it. Remember they left him alone in that place?
Oh no, you cut out there for the whole last 10 seconds.
What was that show called? The ghost show we watched a ton of.
The Ghost Adventures.
The Ghost Adventures. Yes.
Is that it? Zach?
Yes.
With Zach?
Yeah.
Something.
Zach, not Zach Braff. Zach Attack. Zach, and remember they had Post Malone was on an episode.
That's right. Post Malone was on that one episode. It was cool.
So good. That's such a good show. But yeah, they'd always have that one guy that they'd force him to go in, and they have to like sleep overnight, like in an old abandoned hospital or something, and they force him to sleep alone. The poor guy would wake up and get attacked by ghosts. Such a good show.
When you're thinking there's ghosts around you, then there is. You ever like think there's a ghost, and then so you start walking out of the room, and you get all these shiver up your spine because you started thinking it was a ghost, and so it is.
Oh man. Well, we had the house that I grew up in. I never saw anything, which is kind of sad. I wish I did. My parents and my sister all witnessed like some crazy ghost stuff. My sister still says she sees things, and we had dogs, and the dogs would go to the spot in the basement and stare up at a spot and sit. I never witnessed any of it. My sister said it was really creepy, and then we had an alarm go off all the time in our house, and the alarm, has areas of where the alarm was triggered, and the alarm was in the basement in the area where the dogs would sit and look up. It's like one of those sensors where the movement sensors. So it's creepy stuff. This has nothing to do with our podcast this week, but that's what we do, man. That's what we do.
I know. I love it. It doesn't have to have anything to do with it, because when you talk about ghosts and Bigfoot, that's entertainment.
And it's reality because it's all real.
And it's reality too. Well, I was going to say, when you kept saying, well, I never witnessed it. I was going to say, well, the honest ones never do.
Oh, well, I mean, I love it. What's the astrophysicist name? Tyson? Yeah.
Neil deGrasse.
Mike Tyson.
Close.
Yeah. Neil deGrasse. He said, because, he talked to an astrophysicist about non-science things, and he had a great perspective of things. He says, look, there could be a planet with unicorns on it. We don't know. I can't disprove unicorns. And I thought that was a great kind of thing that he said. He's like, yeah, you can't say, oh, there's no unicorns. Like, well, until we can't disprove it because we haven't found one yet. So I like that. Right. He was smart to say
science.
That.
Science isn't about trying to prove a bunch of, crazy things, but just trying to make sure, you take the stuff that and you do experiments to make sure that the stuff that is actually true and facts. When
science,
they find a planet full of unicorns, then the science will really begin.
Science is about taking airborne when you feel sick. That works every time. I took it and went away in an hour.
We have a pretty awesome guest today. I think this is a cool thing. A gold medal winner. We have a gold medal winner on our show today. I think that's a cool thing. Winning a gold
medal winner at the Olympics, by the way, in case people were like, well, gold medal for what? He has won gold medals in other championships.
Yeah, world championships for hockey and stuff like that.
But a gold medal winner.
Olympics, I feel like for representing your country, there's really no that's what the Olympics were all about, right? It's all about just like proving who's the best.
Well, we played the Winter Olympics when it was in Vancouver. That was
right,
2010.
2010.
And it was pretty amazing because we got to perform in BC Place. It was just, such an amazing thing. And then, of course, the Canada won. That they won as well. And when there's like thousands of people in the streets, and then hockey games would break out in the streets.
Yeah.
People all of a sudden would be like, get back. And it'd be like a breakdance circle, but it would be like street hockey games. And it was the most Canadian thing you've ever seen. And we didn't fly out, but we had to get on the tour bus that night and leave. Remember? It was kind of sad.
But we got back, our tour ended. We played our last show in Seattle the night before the gold medal game. And so I drove home, I think maybe with my dad or something that night, and woke up in the morning and watched the gold medal game from the comfort of my own couch. So it was pretty cool. That was exciting, having the Olympics there. Playing that show, I think, is probably the most multicultural show we've ever played. I literally saw 25 flags in the audience.
Yeah.
Because people were there to watch like a medal ceremony as well. And then we performed, and it was really a really cool experience looking out and seeing just like, I don't know, 25, 30 different nations being represented and watching us play. It was cool.
Yeah. And it was sad because I remember when we pulled up, and it was like because it was the Olympics, the security was crazy, right? We all had to get out. There's like a bomb squad there. They're checking we didn't pull up in a tour bus. We pulled up in some sort of van, white van, full security. And then we just sat back. I don't think there was any sound check or anything. Was there sound check?
No, it was something, but it wasn't. Yeah, it was more like video or I don't know, something weird.
But my dad was going to come down and watch. And so my dad had, I guess, not timed it correctly. He'd taken the bus. My dad took a bus and SkyTrained it to the show. And of course, so I'm trying to find my dad, and there's no way to leave him tickets. I think I had to kind of have someone go get him, escort him in, which was fine. But he was so late. Like I was called him or texted him like, Dad, I have to go. I have to like,
We're on.
I'm on stage. I have to go. I don't know where you are. And I never heard from him. And I guess he showed up and he couldn't get a hold of me because I was like on stage, and he just went to some usher and was like, my son's on stage. And being in Canada, they're like, oh, well, you better get down there. So like they just let him on the field, and I'm playing, I'm looking down. There's my dad, like front row on the barricade watching me. I'm like, there's my dad. What happened? How do you get in here? So at least at least he got to see it. But yeah, that was pretty funny. I'm like, wow, what'd you do? Well, the bus was late or something. I'm like, you took the bus? Should have sent a car for my old man. I'm so embarrassed.
That was fun. I remember that. The Olympics, 2010 Winter Olympics. Yeah. So the 2014 Winter Olympics, Matt Duchene, who is our guest on the show today, in Sochi, Russia, he won a gold medal with the team there. Pretty amazing feat to have a gold medal. Let's find out. We'll try to ask him today where he's got it.
Russia.
Like me, I would just wear it all the time.
I wonder what point. I mean, yeah, there's definitely some people probably like put it on, they sleep with it or something. Some people maybe
a couple nights
put it in a drawer and then they're done. But we'll find out. Russia, another superpower of hockey, right? I wish we've been to Russia. It's beautiful.
Love it.
I remember first time we went to Russia, a lot of people were worried. They're like, I don't know, man. And we're like, it's going to be great. And it was great.
Well, it's like everybody has this mentality of what you think, and then all of a sudden you get there, and it's just like human beings, and they're just so appreciative of the fact that you've come so far to perform for them. I'm telling you, we played in Moscow, and then we took the train from Moscow to St. Petersburg, and I will never forget, just being in the train and watching fans smashing on the windows of the trains. Like, how do they even know we're taking the train? Like, they just know what you're doing. They know what hotel you're at, and they're all staying there, hanging out outside the hotel, trying to meet you. It was like Beatlemania.
Yeah, they wait at your hotel. You go to check in your hotel, and then hello. You go down to Red Square, and they're there waiting.
Yep.
Hello. how'd you know I'm going to be down here? Oh, we just assumed you kind of, because all bands, the first thing they go do is go down to Red Square.
If you want to see some sights.
Yeah, they're smart. But yeah, they give the Russian fans over there too, they give like crazy gifts. Like I got this one thing, I kept it. I actually have it in my studio. I don't remember, like she made a doll of me.
That's right. I remember that. There it is.
Someone came over, I think Howard Benson came over and was like, is that Scott Stapp? I'm like, yeah, I got a Scott Stapp.
It does look a little Scott Stappish. Not going to lie, it looks a little Scott Stappish.
Oh, good luck there from a Russian fan. But,
I got some.
That's crazy, the stuff they do build for us,
I got some refrigerator magnets, Russian refrigerator magnets on my fridge downstairs. And some books.
But man, like what a beautiful place. Like, I remember going for a walk. I was going to check out something. And they have like metal detectors going into everything, going into a mall. And there's different sections of street, and all of a sudden it's like these barricades and a metal detector. And I'm like I'm looking on my MapQuest thing, trying to get somewhere. Yeah. And there's all these different kinds of police there. So they have like the local police, military police, and then these other guys, they had a name for it. And they wear these certain uniforms. And they're like, oh, you don't want to mess with those guys. They have certain uniforms. You don't mess with those guys. These guys are great. And I remember I walked up, and I just walked right up to this dude with an AK-47 like this. And I walked right up to him like, hi there, I'm trying to, and all these people were trying to like get through this metal detector to go to some other part of the city. It was just like in the middle of this road. I'm trying to get here, and he didn't know any English, but he's like, he's trying to like direct me to, he's the nicest guy. It's just, I think a lot of people would be so afraid to even go up to a guy with an AK-47 and be like, hi there, I don't speak any Russian. Can you, try to find the Starbucks.
We flew to Moscow that one time, and it was a full blizzard. It was a full-on snowstorm blizzard, and we got to our hotel. And the night that we arrived in Moscow, and we got there late, it was like 6 p.m. or something by the time we rolled into our hotel. Hailstorm was playing a show.
That's right.
In Moscow. And it was, on top of that, it was Joe, the guitar player, Joe Hottinger's birthday. And I was like, you're flying to Russia is not a 3-hour flight. It is like a day of hell. It's a long travel day. But I was like, man, this is what are the chances? Hailstorm's going to be playing in Moscow on Joe's birthday, and I'm here. So I actually got an Uber, and I did not know if I was ever going to arrive. This guy did not understand a word of English either, and we couldn't communicate, but I've put the location in the app, and it was like a Honda Accord, and it was a full blizzard, like crazy blizzard. But I got there, and they had a ticket waiting for me. I went and watched the whole show, and then hung out with them after. Literally stayed up, went to some bar and drank till 4 a.m. with Lizzie and Joe, and then took a cab home back to the hotel.
That's awesome. See, you're all those guys that you and Dean are both the guys that kind of do that stuff. I'm like,
not
I gotta
always.
Save my voice, guys. I gotta save my voice, and then I feel bad because it's like, I saw the guy, I got hung out. It was his birthday, and I'm like, man.
Well, you know what? Certain things I think of, and it's, Dean is the guy that he will go every day. We get to a city, he will go and do something and like seize the day. Carpe diem, Dean, like he does it. I wish
Carpe diem. That's his new nickname.
I wish I had that motivation sometimes, but it's like, certain times you get into a situation and I'm like, man, this is just too perfect. It's, what are the chances that I would be here? And, for that one, it was just so cool. And I love Russia and I love Joe. I got to say, I love Joe Hottinger too.
Oh, awesome. Because when you made that noise, it sounded like you were kissing. You're like, I love Joe. Also, too, you know what? Like
on the cheek that night.
I remember that photo. You got to slap that up on the social medias, bro.
I'll find it.
Yeah, Dean's got a good point because you know what? It's interesting. We go to some of these amazing places, and Joe, our drummers, he's younger, so we always try to tell him you should go and try to do this and that, see this, because you never know when it'll be your last time you're ever in that city. And look at now, here we are in COVID, talking about when's the next time we're going to tour. Oh, it's going to be the spring. And it's like, nope. Oh, the summer. Nope. And it's like,
well,
so
in a
glad
weird
I got to
way,
go here and here and here.
you hope that this might make people realize, because, I really felt like the whole world was kind of going in this way where, we started to not even want to talk on the phone, just text me, and I think we're all realizing that connection is important and we do need it. And we do need to actually spend time with other human beings from time to time. So I think that sometimes, you need a big wake up call to, snap you out of it. So yeah, I know I read it right behind your head right after I said it. But I think that like if personally, like I took certain things for granted that I think that I've learned through this, that just to not take those things for granted anymore, and maybe it will mean me carpe diem,
Dave.
When we get back
carpe diem, Dave. I highly doubt it, but you know what? Me and Dean got it covered. Dean's got it covered.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. And we'll see on his Instagram, he's down by some river. He's in a boat or something. We're like, he's on the top of some building.
Yeah.
Where is that?
It's amazing.
It's 20 miles from here. I walked.
Yeah. He always does too. He walks everywhere. I love Dean. Amazing. We love you, Dean. We know you're listening.
He listens. He's done this 40-mile-an-hour run or something. He's doing some crazy shit.
Yeah.
Crazy man. What do you think when we get our guest on? He's waiting patiently.
He's been waiting for a long time while we ramble and go on tangents.
He's not far from where you live, actually.
It's a little north, up in Nashville. Let's get him on.
Hey, our next guest is a Canadian-born NHL hockey player, is a gold medal winner in the 2014 Sochi Winter Olympics, drafted in 2009 to the Colorado Avalanche, now plays for the Nashville Predators. Please welcome Matt Duchene.
Woo! What's going on, boys?
How you doing?
Hey, what's up?
Good. How about you guys?
Doing good. We're just missing what pumps out blood through our veins, live performing. So
I feel ya.
Yeah. I was thinking, like, last year everything got shut down, got stopped, and then like the whole bubble thing happened. You guys in Nashville went to the bubble. How long were you guys in the bubble?
We were 12 days, unfortunately, and fortunately, I guess.
Yeah, it was a little short.
Unfortunately, we would have liked to have been there longer. Once you're there, you're like, okay, obviously you want to be there for the long haul. But yeah, it was interesting. Obviously, guys with kids, it was tough and very weird. Didn't really feel like NHL hockey. It felt like kind of an international tournament type thing. So it was kind of weird. I'm sure the longer guys were there, it felt more normal. But yeah, it was interesting.
Well, I wonder that because we, as with us when we tour, they're usually like 6 weeks at a time or something. And then of course we talk to like pro hockey players. There's road trips, and they're like, a long road trip is maybe 2 weeks long, right? Like that might be the longest road trip or something. So I kind of was starting to see, people getting there, and it was getting to the point where it was like 6 weeks in the bubble. And I'm like, man, now these people are at the point where they're seeing what we see when we go on a tour, and you're at that point. I wondered, like, for these people, you get to the point that, you start to sense it's getting near the end. You still, you start picturing home, your family. Yeah, it's tough. I can only imagine what it was like being in the bubble right to the end.
Yeah, I can't.
Although I guess if you're right at the end and you're hoisting the cup, then it's
it's worth it.
I feel for the guys. I feel for like the stars who went that far and lost. Yeah. They probably were. I know I was kind of screwed up mentally for a bit after it, just because like, what the hell did we just do?
Right.
I can't even imagine those guys who, sacrificing the summer's tough, time with family and friends. And obviously we were all locked down for so long. So it's like, okay, we finally get a little bit of freedom. And then it's like, oh, okay, we're going to go into this hotel in Edmonton and just, you know what I mean? Like, as much as we all love hockey and love to compete for the cup, it was a very different experience, and it didn't quite feel like what we, grew up, wanting to do and everything like that. And,
no crowd.
Yeah. Once you're in there, I mean, you lock in and it doesn't really change the way you play or the way you think or whatever. But at the same time, it's, I can't imagine being those guys, if you didn't win it, it's almost better maybe to lose out early in that year, as funny as that sounds. But I'm really excited about this, the season starting up here. And I think it's going to be a really cool season, even though we only play in our division. At least we're traveling, and it'll have almost like a playoff feel to it all season. So it's more of a sprint this year than a marathon.
Could be a lot of rivalries formed actually this year that carry on for years to come. In a weird way, this sort of shortened season where everybody's just interdivisional, it's probably gonna just end up making the next 10 years of hockey a lot of fun for.
It could, yeah, I could definitely see that for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if we adopt more of this 2 games at a time thing. I think the owners are going to like how much money it saves them, and as players, it's kind of cool because you can kind of lock in for 2 games at a time against one opponent. Where normal season, you're December, January, February, you're playing every other day, especially in those months. Obviously, that's when the schedule really heats up, and you kind of you're playing nonstop, and you get a team that comes in, that plays one way, and then you get a team that comes in, plays another way, and different conferences, divisions, everything. And it's kind of like you're flying by the seat of your pants a little bit. And not this year, we'll be able to really lock in, and for coaches, it's easier to prepare. And, I could see us definitely going more to this model going forward. I think it's going to have some benefits.
Kind of more like baseball. Baseball how many do they do? Did they do?
They'll do
183 games.
Yeah, they play. What do they play? 160. Or 162 games, which is crazy. But they play, I think, 3-game series every time. So they'll play, back to back to back, or 2 in one day sometimes. And I know they did that this year. So it is like a baseball schedule for sure.
Let's talk music a little bit here. I know you're a huge fan of music. We met you at one of our shows. You came out and saw us in Denver a couple times, actually, maybe. Yeah. I know that you've gotten up on stage and performed with maybe some country acts or something. What's the biggest crowd you've played music in front of?
Probably like an OHL sized rink, like about 5,000-6,000 people.
How did that feel for you?
That was cool. I don't really get stage fright with that stuff. I've always loved to play music. My dad had a band when I was a kid, and that's kind of how I got into it. And we've always been big country and rock fans. And so I don't really get that stage fright with it. And I've liked to play guitar and sing for most of my life, and so it wasn't something I was super intimidated by. Obviously, you get the dry mouth a little bit nervous, but nothing too crazy.
That's why I always have a couple of beers side stage. I can't drink any beer pre-show anymore. I used to pound beers before a show to kind of loosen up, and then
why not, Dave?
The old man bladder kicked in.
Yeah.
We used to do 30-minute sets or 45-minute sets. It was like, whatever, you can handle it, right? But then it's like you start doing an hour and a half set. And I'm like, you got to time it out now. So it's like, I'm like so thirsty. Like as soon as I get on that stage, I'm like, I grab it before I even play my first note.
We were just talking about old man Dave not making it to the end of the set. Because now we play like hour and a half sets. Sometimes we do hour and 35. And I guess it all depends on how long I want to do a guitar solo. Or sometimes I talk too much, and I can tell sometimes like Dave will start playing some stuff, and I'm like, all right.
Yeah, hey, speed it up here. Like,
reminds me of this time, and Dave was like, do. I'm like, okay, this next song is called, all right, I got it.
It's like it's like the music that plays people off to get them to stop doing their acceptance speeches.
The Oscars. That's what it is. It really is.
Who picks the music in the room? Is that is everybody just listening to their own earbuds now, or do you still have like some kind of like jam that gets the boys all pumped up before the big show?
It's music's funny in the room. It's being the DJ is the most thankless, brutal job, because you can never appease everyone. So I usually stay away from it. I'm the guy, I'll grab it in the mornings, pregame skate, and our team loves country music. So I can get away with that in the mornings. This game gets closer, I don't want anything to do with the iPad, because I'll I don't know as much of the more upbeat stuff. I would be, if I was going to be putting on some more like heavier stuff or more upbeat stuff, I would definitely go more rock than some of the other stuff. But I do like what gets put on, even some like the, the house music or like the rap or whatever, hip hop. I just am not, I don't have my finger on the pulse in those genres. So I don't know the new current stuff, but, there's a bit of everything going on, in the room. I've been on some teams. I hated everything that got played. And, thankfully here, the guys that run it do a good job. For my taste, I'm sure there's some other guys that would disagree, but, I like most of it.
I know you guys are creatures of habit. So I always wondered, like, because we used to do for me, it was like a pretty repeatable pre-show routine. Do you have that obviously with, like you say, you're hydrating, you eat probably a certain amount of hours before the game. There's no music playlist for you that you have to hear a certain song before you go out or anything like that?
I'm actually a freak with that stuff. Like we're never really listening to like your headphones or anything in the room. Once you're in the room, it's kind of like everyone's kind of unplugged from that stuff.
Cool.
That was different in junior. I remember my first couple games in pro, I had my headphones on in the room and I got like told like, hey, take those things off. And I'm kind of like, okay, like this is weird. So yeah, I learned that pretty quick, but, yeah, like I have everything down. We have that game clock, right? That counts down. I'm sure you guys have something similar. And I'm like to like the minute on my whole routine from the time I get there, like 3 hours ahead. So even in the car on the way to the games, I make a new playlist every month, and I've been doing that for the last 11 years.
Nice.
And
Wow.
I'll name it after one of the songs or like kind of relates to something going on or whatever. And I'll name it by the month. And sometimes I'll have it like two months will be like the same playlist. Cause it just depends on what music's coming out. Cause I don't, you know what I mean? It's the same playlist. I'm not going to give it a whole new thing, right. But, and I'll have that on the way to the rink. And for, different times I'll have like kind of a pull-up song where I'm pulling up into the loading dock and have something playing. And then when I warm up, basically I do like a 5-minute dynamic warm up before the game, just on my own in the hallway. And it's pretty upbeat, so I get a little bit of a sweat on. I'll have like a playlist, and then I grab some BioSteel and go sit on the bench and just kind of start to visualize a little bit. And I have that playlist still going. And then at the same time in the clock, I run inside to start getting dressed, and I'll pause the song, whatever it is, at the same point. So I have a different one every year, and I'll mix it up sometimes the year goes on. But if things are going well, I don't touch any of the music. So yeah, I'm crazy with my routine. I wouldn't say it's superstition, but it's just like, it's that like kind of locks you in mentally. It's like, okay, I'm ready to go. You know what I mean?
And if you get into a funk, I guess it's nice to have something that you feel like can change it. You'd be like, well, I guess I need to change up the music, and that'll change up my funk.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes in art, like in any sport, you're searching for
no answer,
sort of recipe doesn't matter. You know what I mean? And I've definitely been guilty of that.
It's interesting. Like, now, do you think you got that from being in the NHL? Because me and Dave were talking earlier about how we, like, being on tour, we've become more and more OCD with certain things, like to the point where now I come home from tour and I'm literally like adjusting things, like everywhere has to be perfect. People come to my house like, why does your house look like you staged it? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, is it something you've garnered over time? It's just, or you learned from someone else, or is that just something you did since you were a kid?
Definitely a bit of both. I think definitely more in the NHL. I think the difference is like, so you're just like in junior, you're busing right to the games, right? So it's different amount of time to get there. So you can't really, you get there at a different, because of how long the bus can take, you're not always there at the same time. So your routine's so fluid. So it's tough to get into like the exact same thing. I know when I played home games, I did, but it's just different. You're a kid. When I got in the NHL, I think your days just become so repetitive, especially during the season. Like you're doing every single thing. Like your alarm goes off at the exact same time. You do it's just, and I'm sure it's the same for you guys, right? Like you're your day of a show, you're pretty much, I know there's some days you guys pull in like kind of like right before and kind of like you have less amount of time to get ready, but it's the same thing, right? Like it's, you have your, you know, you guys like you do your warm up or whatever you need to do to get ready. And if one little thing is off,
happens at the same time.
What's that?
Sound check happens at the same time every day.
Exactly. Yeah. So, you know, like, and I'm sure you guys are the same. If something happens like that's kind of off script, it can throw you. And I think that's where I'm different now is I almost try to not put as much stock into that routine, because like I have to just go out and it doesn't matter what's going to happen. I remember a couple of years ago, it's my first preseason game at home, and it had been a while, and you forget kind of your routine, and I totally misread the clock. Like I thought I did something at this time, but I think it was 15 minutes different. So I'm sitting there like on the couch. I haven't even done my dynamic warm up yet in the lounge, and one of the boys comes in with like his gear like on, and I'm like, holy, I have to be out for warm up here in like 15 minutes. And I haven't even not even thought about it. And I had an awesome game. Felt so good. I was super like in the moment, like kind of dialed in, and it's probably because I just, you know, didn't think about it till I got up there. We all know what to do, right? You can over prepare, you know, and you got to kind of keep the anxiety and the nerves at bay as long as possible. You just go out and play, and, you know, you're already prepared. If you're doing the right things, you're already prepared. You know what I mean? So it would be no different for you guys. You guys done all the practice. You guys are obviously working together. You've played that song however many times and done it so well however many times. I mean, you know what to do, right? So it's the same thing.
It's the muscle memory. I always joke that I won't screw up. You know, I could take a month off and then get on tour. I won't screw up that first show unless I start thinking.
Yeah.
And if I actually start thinking about what chord I need to play, then I will never figure it out. But if I literally erase my brain and just enjoy and just let it happen, then my body will just remember and play, and I don't even have to think about it. But I mean, I'm telling you, sometimes you start thinking and you're like, what are you doing? Don't think.
Yeah.
Don't
I can see
think.
that. It's like you got a few beers at the fire and you're all of a sudden you're like, geez, do I sound good because I'm half in the bag, or no, I'm just loose, baby. I'm just feeling it right now.
Some good Canadianisms in there.
Yeah.
Half in the bag.
Yeah. Well, that's like, I'll be on stage and like I tell the guys, I'm like, I can't look at someone. If they're singing back to me, I can't look at them because I will start singing whatever they're singing. So if they're singing the wrong lyrics, I'll be like, what? And it's the worst. So I have to turn away, and like sometimes you'll do like the blurry vision thing where you're like kind of cross your eyes. So it's so silly, but I literally am like Will Ferrell in.
It's like the people that tell
Anchorman. It's like, he will literally repeat anything you say if you sing the wrong lyrics. I am just the worst.
Yeah, I can totally see that. I'd be the same, I think. And then you probably get pissed because they're singing the wrong lyric, and you're like, "Hey, don't come to my show and sing the wrong word."
Don't you even know the words? Don't you even know the words, bro?
A lot of them don't. It's pretty good seeing them trying to or some people want to sing along, and they're like, and they say it after you say it. They're trying to almost like catch up. But I'm getting worse. Sometimes I started taking some. The THC CBD stuff, not for any reason other just for fun, before a show. So I'll get up there and it does stuff to your memory where I'll be up and I'll be in the middle of a song and just be like blank. And the guys are playing, they're looking at me and I just forget a whole line. And I'm just like, sometimes I'll look at the microphone like there's something wrong with it.
They call it the Vince Neil, though. You just got to turn the mic to the crowd.
Vince Neil, man. Just Vince Neil.
The line, just turn it to the crowd. You didn't forget it. You just want them to sing it.
What is going on?
That's a good little hack. I like that.
We did a couple tours with Motley Crue, and those guys were pros, man. They knew what they were doing.
That's pretty cool.
There was no thinking going on there.
Did you guys find you guys are both dad? Are you guys both dads?
No, Ty's not.
Ty's not. Okay. So I found Dave, and you can tell me if when I had my son, I had like the best memory ever. Like I could remember like songs, especially with music. Like if I heard a song in 1996 in my dad's Bronco, like I could hear it and pick up the words. And then like now I'll be playing with my, whatever, I'm in the living room or just playing at the fire or whatever. And I've heard this song 1,000 times and I know all the words, but my brain, it's like my brain doesn't have enough room in it anymore because of kids.
You need someone to give you that first word. If you just hear the first word to that verse, you'll know. Isn't
it weird? How did that, like, why does it affect our memory so bad?
Totally, kids. I would like to say, it's hormonal, but we have no connection to the baby, so it's not hormonal. Yeah, I don't know. It's totally true, though. It also could just be part of the whole age thing, but I think that kids do have this like memory erasing ability that they use. It's a
they use it against
their parents to it's funny, but it's totally true. I swear I've got songs that I jam these old Crow Medicine Show songs at home all the times, and I like know the words, but I can't think of the first word. If I just get that first word, then I'll know it. But what is it? That's what it is. I just get full blocked, and then I'm like, forget it.
Yeah.
My kid now I try to play guitar and my son just looks at me and goes, "Can you put that back where it goes?"
That's so sad.
Yeah, I guess I can. You used to like it when I played for you, man. What the heck? What happened?
Your kid is so polite and dissing you. It's great.
I wanted to talk. You brought it up, the Bronco. I love this because you just recently got a Bronco. Your dad had a Bronco?
Yeah. My dad had like it would have been early 90s. He had a red one and then a green one. And he's a realtor. So we used to drive all around the county looking at houses and cottages and stuff. And our county's pretty rugged and it's all cottage country. So you get in some back roads, 1-lane dirt roads, and get some of those ones that you go off, a little quick and your stomach drops. And I have some good memories doing that. That's kind of where my love of music took off because we used to, listen to tunes doing that. And I remember I used to be in the front seat, just, nothing like, I don't know, I was 4 or 5, but back in those days, you just, got the hair son, get in the front. I'm surprised I didn't have a beer open while we were going, but there's
no airbags back then that were going to take your head off. You're fine.
Yeah. And then, so I've always loved the old school ones, even older than that you can take the, the back off or whatever. So that, actually, I've got to know the owner of the company pretty well now. The guy on Instagram, their Classic Ford Broncos is the Instagram thing, and he basically builds them from the ground up. So I got a hold of him through Thomas Rhett, who's a friend of mine in the country music industry, and obviously pretty big stud in the business right now. And he got one built by Brian, and I've been wanting one forever. So when I signed my deal here in Nashville, I'm like, it's a perfect place to have it. And I love it. It's great. I wish I could probably be out in it today. It's warm enough here, but it's pretty great for flying down the highway to the rink in the fall and in the spring for sure. It's probably an 8-month vehicle around here.
What year is it?
So it's a 75, but everything on it is new. So everything is like reclaimed and redone. Like the engine is it's a Coyote engine, 5-liter Coyote. So like what they put in a Mustang. Mm-hmm. So they just tune it down a bit because it would have a little too much torque for like the body or whatever. But it goes. It's super easy to drive. It drives like kind of a mix between an old car and a new car. So it's kind of like you get that authentic feel, but you're also not like, please God, don't break down right now. You know what I mean? Yeah, you don't have to. Yeah, exactly. So you're not just absolutely trying to crank it over like that. So it's good.
No 3 on the tree.
No, I don't have to deal with that, thankfully.
Ty's got a Bronco on order right now. He ordered yours one of the new ones, right, Ty, that you ordered?
I canceled it. And I'll tell you why, man. It's sad. It's because of the pandemic. Because I actually went and test drove it was a 68. I drove and I saw one in a used car dealership. A 68, all original. It was a piece of crap. Had a 302 in it, had the 5-liter in it. But that's the year, right? That's the year I wanted, the 68. And I drove it, and you turn it, and the you know, it's just everything was out of whack. The wheels would be grinding against the wheel wells when you're turning. You know, no power, anything, no power steering, no power brakes, 4-wheel drum, couldn't stop. And I'm like, this is awesome. Just like, it's just such an awesome vehicle. Awesome. Like, it's just like a lap belt, you know, roll cage kind of thing. I'm like, this is such a great California vehicle, but and I think they wanted like 18 grand for it, but I'm like, I'm going to have to put in $30,000 into this thing because you got to get power. You got to get all that stuff, power steering, brakes, suspension, 4-wheel disc, and, you know, you probably take the motor out of it, put it, like you said, put a fuel injected motor. So I was like, forget it. So I just ordered one of these new ones that look like the old ones. And but they just sent me an email saying they're back ordered now to maybe 2022. So
geez. The new ones look awesome. They're pretty they look cool. I'm a fan. So I like all of them actually. I think the only one that I didn't love was the like sport. Looks a bit like one of those like Range Rover Evoque, like kind of vanny almost like, but the 4-door and the 2-door look awesome. They did a great job.
Yeah, the 2-door I was looking at, I just wanted and you can take the doors off. Yeah. And it's just a machine. I was all about it. I was like, it's about time to get one of these things.
Yeah, they did it right. Yeah, fun to see on the road.
So I'll see. A couple of years.
So Matt, where is your gold medal?
It's so I got a case made for I've been lucky enough to win a few with Canada. Obviously that was the big prize, but I had a case made by a memorabilia company I'm partners with, and basically it has pegs that you put like the ribbon around, kind of like cool. And you kind of hang them all up. So I got like a room at my cottage where I've got like all my jerseys and stuff, and from all the different teams, and so I got it. I have it there, and then when I leave, I get my parents to take it and stash it away for me, keep it safe. So
your cottage looks like paradise. I remember I guess when you were building it, you were posting pictures here and there. It looks like totally like a paradise. So I'm going to invite myself there one of these days.
You let me know, man. We got an open door policy up there. So
it looks like a really amazing place, just right on the lake. So is that Lake Halberton? Is that what that lake's called? Or
no. What? So my lake's called Redstone Lake. So up there, there's like over 600 lakes. So there's so many nice ones. Ours is one of the bigger ones. There's about 3 or 4 in our area that are like probably the most desirable kind of ones to be on for size, depth. Like our lake's over 300 feet deep. So the water is really clean and there's like no weeds. So fishing's great. It's really nice. It was a dream of mine, always have a place on that lake. We used to rent a place there for a week a summer when I was a kid, starting when I was 5 years old. And I didn't, playing hockey, it never, was always about the love of it and kind of getting to live my dream. And the only 2 things I ever wanted to buy was a cottage on that lake and a Ford F-150. So mission accomplished on those 2 things, and everything else since has been gravy, and just still very lucky and happy to do what I'm doing. And it's a special place up there. Actually, we own the place